Hang up.
Welcome back.
Here we are.
Welcome to another episode. Hello, Brian. How are you? Hi.
I'm fine. How are you? Who are you talking to?
The people.
The people?
Viewers.
Oh. Well, for the podcasters, we're trying to. We're doing recording. We used to record.
Yes.
For brief
As you
time,
can see
and then put it on the
on our
YouTube channels, and then we got away from it because we took a break and everything. So.
Life.
Yeah. And so now I figured, hey, we got better equipment, good stuff. So, welcome to the watchers, the strangers.
Like that meme. Welcome.
Why are you doing this to us? Because you were home. Oh, I love that. I love that line. I just watched Strangers again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. It was a little slower than I remember, and I'm so used to Blood and Guts and Gore now that it was a little tame for me because I'm wearing my stream shirt, so it's like okay. But it was still psychologically, it was still such a great film. I gotta watch the second one, but yeah, it was.
I like psychological thrillers.
Yeah, it's good. So
How have you been, Brian? Okay,
no, I'm fine. How are you?
I mean, according to the intern, a lot happened when we met up for dinner last week. You guys talked, and I had no idea what had happened.
We did? No. No, for me, like I said, it's just it's the same for me because with the remodel of our store,
well, yeah, we haven't updated the remodel.
Broken stuff. I didn't have any ways of making anything. It's madness right now. Everything's broken. We didn't have refrigeration in the store for a day.
Yeah, that's true. Some of that's crazy.
And then so like right now, it's like if people ask, it's like God bless you for asking me, but it's like right now, it's like my answer right now is always going to be it's whatever. Until
same old shit.
Same, and then I'm all excited for next weekend, and then Days of the Dead cancels, and it's like, gosh, it's like selfishly, I'm like, come on, I needed. There's a lot more people that needed it, but yeah, I mean that was. Really
to happen what, a week before?
8 days.
8 days before.
And then they're like, well, we just found out about it. And you're like, yeah, but like all your Terrifier crew's already booked for another con, like immediately.
Yeah, tell them about that.
Yeah, it's like 3 hours after it was announced, like the Pale Girl and all these people, like suddenly they're at GalaxyCon in New Orleans same weekend. Like, wow, it's either they helped them get there, like hey, we're canceling.
So go here.
Here, let's just we're still gonna pay you, but you can go. I don't know how that worked, but it just seemed really strange that suddenly
it's a quick book.
Quick book.
But it's funny because we were talking about this, and you had said kind of like the episode we recorded. So episode 119.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's called Convention Scam and Fraud. Oh my, episode 119. Just go listen to it. I'm not saying that Days of the Dead did it.
Yeah,
it's
I'm not saying
it
was like malicious.
But things happen. And so we talk about that.
We talk about the Walker Stalker Con and everything that happened to me. Now, thankfully, they're going to do refunds. Sounds like.
Yeah.
And I hope the vendors get refunded because they're the ones that really put out the money.
That's the saddest part. I know we had mentioned it like a few times in previous episodes about how like these two conventions were booked on the same weekend.
Yeah.
And it's really ultimately like I get if you have beef. When it comes to business, like put it aside. Well, my thinking is, but then again, I use logic.
What is that?
Right. I use it, and it's not used in this world apparently. But when you're a business, your whole focus is to make money, obviously. But you provide a service too, and all the fans that had to decide which one am I going to go to?
The vendors had to decide. The
and
fans
the vendors,
are one thing, but it's the vendors.
But the most that were impacted were the vendors first, and then fans. And it's like, why not just come together? Or like, if you have beef, then do it on a different date.
I've heard he's done that with other conventions. He'll move the dates to coincide with a Mad Monster somewhere. And it's like, dude. Plus, if you're like an actor, like you're coming out to make some money, and if you're like, hey, why would I come to you when there's a convention there as well? I'm not going to get the same level of walk up and the same amount of people walking through because there's a lot of times people will like me, especially if you usually go because I was like nervous to go up to them. We're like walking. Oh man, that person's there. I don't know, but after about the fourth, fifth time you walk by, or the second day, you're like, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna pull the trigger. I'm gonna get a selfie, or I'm gonna do something. But if you're at another convention, or you don't have enough money to spread it out between both, the vendors are gonna hurt because I want to get all these like actors because they're Days of the Dead had Aliens cast, Return of the Living Dead, Revenge of the Nerds, all the Terrifier people.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you're gonna go spend all that money, you don't have money then to go over to Mad Monster and see Robert Englund and Danielle Harris and
times could conflict too.
Like me, I was waiting on the photo op schedule. That's why I knew they were going to have to cancel. And you got from what you were told. I mean, it's weird if something else swooped in and outbid them last minute. But
the first when
you should have an ironclad contract if you're going to be doing a convention like that.
You were the first when you text me. I was like, no way. I was like, really like, oh my god. For me, I don't want to like relate it to, but it's like there were things going on. I don't want to say like in my life, but like when you're looking at, there were things going on in the world that things were happening, and I was just like, it's only like more things are gonna come to light. Is how my thinking was, and when you said that to me, it's like I wasn't surprised, but I was, and I'm like, well, like it's almost like we're seeing karmic things happen in the world right now. And so when I saw that, I was like, well, it's good. It was bound to happen. But at the same time, when you messaged me, it wasn't until hours later, like after work, I noticed on Facebook, because I followed the group on Facebook to stay up to date, and they were like, yeah, we can't really talk about it, but we just couldn't make it work with the hotel. It was at a hotel, right?
Yeah, sure.
The hotel. Yeah. And then I asked, and if anyone, like, other people that were going, and they kind of told me there was like an issue with being, I guess, in an essence, outbidded, or like they wanted to pay more, but I don't know.
Again,
100%.
why aren't you having ironclad contract?
I don't know.
These are my dates, because I bought my tickets like at the end of 24.
Yeah.
So they already had,
as soon as it was
they already had the dates announced. Yeah. So it's like, why would you even put it like, hey, we're gonna do a convention, we're gonna do everything. If
money
you don't,
talks, man.
But still, now you have to give it all back. So I mean, yeah.
I'm just saying for the hotel. If someone came in and said, well, I could pay you this much more.
But if you have a contract, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then
you got to have that ironclad contract to say, this is my date, I don't care.
Yeah.
And maybe, like I said, if you'd done it 2 weeks earlier and not been competing, we could have already had the convention and been over and done with, and nobody else would be swooping in to take it away.
Yeah.
So I get it. I just selfishly, it's like
Business.
I bought a lot. I bought stuff to be signed, quite a bit of stuff.
I know, that's the other thing, and I was like, oh, you're so right, because you did buy.
I just got us Pale Girl pops and everything.
I know, I was so upset. Pale Girl, where are you?
She's right there. Don't fall over, please. Okay.
You're not coming, though. Now what? No, I'm kidding. Not your fault.
No, it's not. It's none of their fault. I mean,
I know. I'm just.
But I thought it was. I just thought it was funny because we just did that episode not too long ago.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's why I wanted to plug it in. But it's sad. It's sad, but I know it's upsetting, but a little bit less stressful now. You don't have to go back and forth.
I'd rather be stressed and see all these people and have a good time because I was planning on it.
Okay.
But no, I get what you mean.
Fine.
I can now go to Mad Monster and just relax and stay at the hotel, and they added the leather facing costume photo ops. I jumped on that. I a couple of photo ops Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it's like they're gonna get my money now. Yeah. And I still won't spend all the money that I saved, so now I'm gonna save that for gathering the ghouls later.
Yeah. How sad though that the vendors, that we're going to Days of the Dead will not be a Mad Monster. Like
they can't. Yeah. It's too late.
Damn. That's brutal.
So they put all the stuff together, and now they're just got to sit on it.
And in that episode that we recorded, it talked about livelihood, people's livelihood, and now look. Damn.
We're clairvoyant.
We have a crystal ball. We knew all that shit was gonna happen.
Shake the 8 ball.
Right. We should get one.
We are one, so we don't need it.
I like that.
Yeah. Why waste the money? So anyway, anything we want to update the people on now that we've kind of chatted for a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thanks guys for listening. We'll catch you next week.
No, I kind of, Brian and I were talking a little bit before we started recording, and so we are going to tie up on the P. Diddy case.
Yeah. My
prediction, I want to say I wasn't 100% correct because we don't know. It hasn't been like, hey, this is your sentencing yet. It hasn't happened yet, but he's going to get, based off of all the opinions of these lawyers, with like Nancy Grace and like just other people talking on Law and Crime channel and whatnot. It's just first offense and it's going to be 3 to 5 years is what they're thinking, which is ridiculous. And on top of that, I just don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, you know?
Uh-oh.
So
Someone doesn't remember her password.
no, it's just.
Oh, now you remember it.
Oh, it's still recording. Okay, cool.
Okay, so it's just gonna time out the screen. Whatever.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But, so, it's just. It's sad to see. I'm really infuriated. It's kind of infuriating because, like we had said in the last episode, it's changing the definition of what victim blaming is. It changes the definition and this, like, the stipulation of should I
come forward?
Come forward, yeah. And power and money gets in the way of everything. I mean, just look at this convention, power and money, and then it's just. I said what I said on our story is like it's really disappointing because we are such advocates for sex trafficking and like I know they emphasize so much on these freak off parties. But, like, if you understand what was going on, it was sex trafficking.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know how much more.
I don't know why all the stuff with minors didn't come up in it. It's on
all the documentaries.
It's on all the documentaries and all the behind the scenes and all the whistleblowers talking about the girls that are drunk, the girls laying on the food picked off of them and everything, kids that don't know where they are. Justin Bieber alone. Yeah. That was never brought into any of this. It's just about the Cassie girl, and that would seem like that was it. Like we're gonna try to build everything just around
her and Jane Doe, and then some parties, and it's like it's all bad, but it's also I still stick by my. They were never really serious, but they had to throw out something. They were gonna mismanage it so bad that then us, the people, will say, "Oh, look, we got off. The court said he's not guilty. So what are we bitching about? Oh yeah,
he didn't do anything because the court didn't say so."
And like you said last week, that people will forget about it.
Yes,
and they will.
They will forget about it. They will forget about it.
They will forget about it, and that's the sad part. Just a reoccurring cycle. Like we're all like waking up and we're like, wait, what? And it's refreshing to hear that people are like, this is ridiculous. The government knew about it. They did a horrible case. Like, honestly, a lot of people are speaking out now saying that it's like we did mention when this first started. It's just kind of like to set him as an example. And just be like, slap him on the wrist and be like, don't be out of line again. Otherwise, you will go to jail for longer next time.
No, we already took all your videos and all your footage and we buried it.
Exactly.
We buried it, so don't worry about that.
That's why nothing about minors.
We burned down your mansion and your tunnels, so we're all good.
Nothing about anyone else associated. Maybe like a couple mentions here and there, but no one else brought as like co-conspirators or anything.
Did you hear that real quick, just to sidetrack for just a split second? They want to make the speed train going up through California, and it's the exact path, the Palisade Fire. Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay, but back to Diddy.
That was all in the works.
Oh my gosh, it's so obvious. Why are people... Again, if we stop sitting out there worrying about flying flags upside down or bitching about 4th of July and actually paid attention to what was going on, like seriously, what's being put into place...
This case was a distraction.
It drives me insane.
Remember, I was asking, I was like, what am I missing? This is distracting us from something. And it's exactly what you're saying.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was more things that were brought up.
And now they get to cover up all the tunnels, all the trafficking, everything from this. And that's why I get so mad that sometimes when I see reels and I see, like we talked about last time, the agree to disagree with the grandstanding online. Oh, look at me, I'm so progressive because I care about this stupid little shit or whatever. Meanwhile, the big ass stuff that's coming down the pipeline that they are going to steamroll society to do, it's not real. It's conspiracy.
But when it arrives,
then it's like,
yeah.
That's why I love my I Told You show so sure because it's like. But anyway, Diddy.
That's why I posted on my stories. I told you because he really. It's potentially the judge could say, "Time served."
Well, at least they're holding him there until sentencing.
Yeah, thank God. But I would worry. Everyone should be worried whether he went to jail or not. All those people. I hope we don't see any deaths.
I don't think we will because
I don't know. Diddy is a.
again,
He's
I
a
I don't think it's really,
king.
honestly, I don't think much is up to him when it comes to this. Because I still fully believe that's an Epstein-like thing to where there's still a puppet, pulling Diddy strings as well, because it's about blackmail. It's about
his personality.
And I don't know if you listened to the latest, even though she's been off the rails thing as far as Candace and as far as the Marcron stuff and the Brigitte stuff, and how this all ties into pedophilia worldwide.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my.
He has his mural has a book written by someone who's into pedophilia. Well,
the first thing that I thought about, since we're, to switch gears real quick, that's how I used to run.
Use it. Punch it!
No, I was listening to the episode and it was fascinating me because the French guy who's bringing this out, first of all, Candace is being, Macron comes to the White House to say, what was it, January? To say, hey, Trump, if you can get Candace to stop talking about my wife and her penis, it really affects her. If you can get her to stop talking about that, I will make sure we can end this Ukraine-Russia war conflict real quick. Which I wondered why France and Macron was getting so involved in the Ukraine thing anyway. Now I know why. Yeah. And then Trump apparently reaches out and she's like, no, I'm good. Because it's important. But to find out that he was 14 and she was 47 when all this started.
Yeah. Did you not watch the series when I saw it?
No, I didn't. So I'm just watching the recap and how the person who raised him worked at a trans clinic. So it's right there. And then 14 and 47, so this is pedophilia and grooming. I didn't know this. And then Brigitte is Jean something, but took on the identity of his sister.
I thought you knew all this.
I didn't know all this in all this
we
detail.
Talking about it.
And all this stuff now to where it's like this guy's blowing the whistle is like they're coming after him for anti-Semitic comments because they're all pretending to be Jewish. Because it's like that book in Revelation, it's true. Those saying they're Jews are not really Jews, but they're really satanic cults. They're all saying that I was Jewish because, again, if you say anything about anyone that's Jewish, it's anti-Semitic. That's why they're trying to change laws all over the world, including here, as far as you can't say anything against a Jew because they had a Holocaust at one point. So they have a free pass to do whatever they want now for the rest of existence. And if you say anything, then we're not going to go after them for grooming, pedophilia, lying to the French people about her being, a man. We're going to go after you because you're anti-Semitic, because someone in that group is Jewish, and so you're not allowed to say anything. So now we're going to put you in prison, like the girl that helped blow the whistle, that they put her right in prison. The guy who blew this, that she talked to, they froze all of his accounts, and it's like, and it's worldwide. She went back to the Frank guy, she went back to Sigmund Freud, she went back to I was like, holy crap, this has been a satanic, pedophile occult. Since like the beginning of human time.
Yeah. When I had mentioned a few times. Are you kidding me? When I had mentioned a few times in our episode that we are going to get into to psychology, but really it's dark psychology. Yeah. Because the psychology that we adapted to is all related to that. To the program
incest
to desensitize.
Incest is best line and everything. Now Sigmund Freud was just basically a pedophile. That's why his whole everything about him was children and how they were attracted to their parents, and I blew my mind because I was like, I knew little bits and pieces, but I was like,
you ever heard that phrase? As a woman, you marry the husband you marry is your dad, and then as a man, you marry your mom. Like, that didn't just come out of nowhere.
They really this cult this
it doesn't apply to me though.
I forget what it was. She named the term of the religion, but it's like it's all based on pedophilia and incest.
And supposedly, if you bring that religion or cult up, everyone's like, that died long ago. And
that's actually what is going on. And that's why these people, and she made sense. They put the pedophiles and their victims in power. Yeah. And the handlers, so that way they can be absolutely controlled. It's like, I knew. Yeah. But when you hear it come out, when you hear it come out, and you hear that, holy crap, we're not just grasping at straws. No. But it's actually there. And again, it's another one of those things where people. I'm looking at the camera. Where are you? Where are your protests with this? Why aren't you protesting no pedophiles instead of kings?
Speak louder.
We don't have a freaking king, but we have pedophiles everywhere. Do you care? Anybody?
No.
Anyone?
No, they don't.
No.
No, they don't, because I thought you knew about that.
Not to that depth.
That's why when I talked about it, I was like, why? Like, I knew you were understanding, but I was like, don't you understand what I'm saying?
I understood that this happens. I just didn't understand.
No, there was just so much. There's so much behind it, and it's.
And Zelensky's a part of it too.
Everyone in government and leads
that
all
makes
of
sense
it.
as to why all the populist candidates can immediately get detained in jail before they can win their elections.
Yeah.
That's why the Ukraine-Russia war won't stop, because once it does, Zelensky's in an election, he'll probably be ousted. You know, it's the Romanian person. I mean, Macron got beat by that Le Pen girl, and then suddenly she's arrested for, what was it, government conspiracy or talking out against the government, because they just make shit up because she's not involved in it. And the thing she was talking about, how the magazines in France, how they're all Brigitte and Michelle Obama, but there's not anything, you can't find a Melania picture anywhere because she's just a normal mom and normal woman. They don't want that.
But my thing is, okay, so let's say you don't know any of that, right? Erase that. You never heard about this stuff that we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Which is our audience. Okay.
Let's say, no, but I'm just saying, like, let's say we're so progressive that we want the first trans woman president. We want the first this and that. And the French being so, like, everything's fine and dandy, like, we don't care, be who you are. You know, their lifestyle's like that very, anyway. Very different. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, why do they care so much if he were to come out and say, my wife really was a man and now is a woman?
Because
don't you think people would be like, yay!
They can't do that because they dig more. And again, it's not just about trans.
Do you really think people would dig more?
It's about pedophilia.
But do you think people... Erase that. No, remember, people don't care about that.
That's true.
But if someone said, hey, you know what? I know you've seen the series with Candace, or like there's rumor. Okay, yes, she is. But this is how progressive we are. You know, like, you could spin it. Come on, you're talking about government.
That's true.
They could manipulate it.
True. If Obama were to come out tomorrow and say, yes, I'm gay, and yes, Michelle is my...
like, why is it an issue if we're so progressive? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, that's my mentality. That's why I'm just like, I don't understand what the issue is, why they don't deny it. That's the thing is, like Candace said, they don't deny it. They just keep saying illegal.
Well, because they can't say it.
I want them to sue her so she could be like, here.
They can't. Well, that's why all the stuff from Macron is just word letters. It's stop. Yeah, it's not lawsuits.
And that's why that guy's still alive. Well, he left France to move because they're
actively coming after him. As for and it's always the anti-Semitic charges.
Why is it just him and all the other reporters?
Because he's got all the information.
Yeah. So I don't understand why they don't just.
He's got the photos from when they were kids. He's got the photo of the kid that someone fathered that looks just like Macron. So there's incest going there, because it's when your eyes get opened. Mm-hmm. I mean, our eyes have already been kind of open, but to hear that, and that, like I said, the thing that gets me the most is that they get away with it because, and in the establishment media, corporate media, world media, they hide it, the Mockingbird media, because if anybody comes forward again, and it's clear now. I don't understand why Candace, while we still say she's gone off, maybe she's not off the rails with her Israel speech because she sees it. Yeah. And she understands, if you speak out, it's immediately you're anti-Semitic because you have to allow pedophilia or you're, hateful, because that's what it makes sense with this entire trans agenda, again, into the mainstream and the activism world, not necessarily Sally or Johnny sitting at home that might be struggling with who they are. But that's why this has been pushed in our media. It's in Ironheart. There's a trans person. It's in everything now because they need everybody to be comfortable and calm with this is just natural. This is the way people are, and then they can hide their deeper, darker thing now behind that, saying. And even now, you see with the furries, with the animal, it's slowly peaking its
that
little.
That isn't trans though.
But it's slowly peaking. That's the next. These are the next steps. Our society, I guarantee you, at some point, we might be dead and gone, and this is gone. Yeah. At some point, pedophilia, I truly believe this will be accepted in mainstream.
They tried.
I guarantee you, at some point,
all that stuff. Yeah.
And
well,
again,
there's communities.
and again, this is biblical for me because Sodom and Gomorrah, it was destroyed for these kind of very things. All these empires, the Roman Empire, I believe, just destroyed and created from within because they went off the rails. They went from just being open and sexual to they went all homosexual, then all into cross-dressing because they did that for their performances, and then all into kids and boys, and it ties into the Catholic Church, and that makes sense now as far as the priests and the molestation and the children because it's this level of sinning that they have to keep sin, and then absolution, and then strengthen, and then sin, and then absolution, and then strengthen, and it's all through. And then when you have priests who are abstinent, to where they have to control their natural carnal desires, you don't give them women. Women are separate, so all they have around is these boys, and they're just fed these altar boys left and right, and it's like, what do they expect? But that's what's expected.
I don't believe that's expected in a true religion, but in
the
actual.
Man. And that's the problem. Yeah. A lot of people have a problem with religion because man is religion. That's why I say I have my faith and belief in God, but I don't necessarily want to identify with a man-made earthly religion because
spirituality.
They're all. I mean, full faith in God, Jesus, the whole nine. But it's like this thing with Candace really. I listened to it on the way to work today, on the way home today, because it's a 35-minute episode, and then on the way to here. So I've listened to that episode 3 times now.
Yeah.
Because there's so much there that just blows my mind that's right there in the open for everyone to see, and nobody will see it.
But those people who question it, because there's a lot of questions I had that she answered based off of the research.
Yeah.
And I just didn't research it.
Because I didn't know where to start. It's not her, it's him.
I didn't know where to start. And so when this series was coming out, I was after work, boom, I would be watching, or like while I was working, I'd be listening because it uncovered so much, and that's the problem is things get. Look at Diddy. It was just like, here's a little sample of the cake that you're looking for. But then, like you said, it's all going to be shut down. We'll forget, and so I honestly don't care anymore about the Diddy cake.
France's head of the Department of Justice covering up a pedophile ring and getting the 12 people off, and then another pedophile ring after that. He got them all off. It's like he's there to protect.
Yes.
The pedophile. It's just.
Again, I forget you didn't watch it. Yes, no. He's been groomed and.
Well, that was like the Department of Justice guy. And they're all in the Jewish high.
But it's a ring. Yeah, like you said, it's a ring.
Yeah.
Like he was a banker. He was in
just like Epstein. Just like Epstein with no banking experience.
They put them in place and they cover for them because they don't have any experience to be in the positions that they're in, and they get in. How do you think they get in? It's because they know people. Like with Diddy, you think everyone questioned how did he become so big when he was so young, and then now progressively look at where he's at. It's because he was the altar boy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they groomed him, they did whatever they wanted to him, trained him, taught him how to do things. This is the way of life. This is how we do it here. And
this is how we do it.
And then it sucks because then you look at music, movies differently. You look at everything differently.
Everything is looked through a different lens.
Yeah, and that's why it's. We try to separate where, like, if I do listen to a song that isn't, like an old school song from the 80s or something, I'm like, I can enjoy it for just music, but then I start going, what is the meaning of this? What are we saying?
And all the boy bands I liked and everything that were,
Oh, the boy bands, they went through so much.
Between that, the Nickelodeon kids and the Disney kids, it's like, it's just nonstop. Like I said, it goes back to the Poltergeist Girl, Shirley Temple, Judy Garland. It goes all the way. It's every single child.
But no one cares.
Macaulay Culkin, when he was going, it wasn't because of the aftershave.
There is a video clip, I don't know if I mentioned this, where the guy that was the acting coach for Nickelodeon, that was accused with one of the guys from the Sweet Life, or Zach and Cody, I don't remember the TV name. There's a court case, and he actually went to jail. There's a video clip of him, Leonardo DiCaprio talking to him, and when Leonardo DiCaprio, he was like, here, let me show you, and like they're walking towards something on the set. And when Leonardo DiCaprio turns around, he puts his hand behind his butt, like covering his butt. I don't think anyone... I looked in the comments to see if anyone noticed that he did that. No one. So I'm going to have to comment and be like, does anyone notice how he covered his butt? Because that was instinct. That wasn't like, why do you need to cover your butt? Like, he literally put his hand behind his butt
as
the guy's walking behind him. And I'm like, this is the guy that assaulted and molested.
That makes sense because Leo...
Why do you think he only dates 25-year-olds and stuff like
under.
That?
Like, it's like under 21, I thought.
And why do you think he's so, like, into these white parties and stuff?
He's still trauma-wise and emotionally, he's still that kid. Yeah. He's still a kid living that way. That's why it's like no matter how old he gets, his trauma is broken to the point, like Michael Jackson, to the point where he's forever 18 or 19, or he's still that little kid who's being traumatized, and he's trying to get that out by just sex and drugs and sex and fame and fortune and everything that they gave him for having him be a toy basically for them.
Yeah, and then they feed into those ways.
And that, here, go do this and go champion for us here. Go champion for climate change. Go champion for...
And yet he went to the Jeff Bezos wedding.
Yeah.
And you saw how he was like...
He had his hat down. Yeah. Because all these people use private jets to go to this wedding. Because it's not about climate change.
No, and they say the Jeff Bezos wedding... First of all, to rent out the whole fucking city. Was it Venice? Or,
was it?
I don't remember.
I don't care.
It's a small city. They couldn't do anything. They were protesting against it, rightfully so. Good for the people. And then all those famous people showing up, and I'm like, this is... And someone said, this is a ritual. This isn't a wedding. And it is, because look at all the high-powered people there. Absolutely. And some people who weren't even invited. Absolutely. Like the Kardashians, only one or two people from the Kardashians, they're like, well, we're going to bring all my sisters. Yeah, bring all the witches. We got to do this ritual, so we got to bring all our sisters.
Did they bring all the astronauts?
Yeah, Gail was there. Gail was there. Katy Perry wasn't, but Orlando Bloom was.
I wonder what the party favors. I wonder what the party favors were underneath in the tunnels.
Hell if I know.
They don't even use tunnels there. They're probably just right there in the hotel rooms.
Yeah, probably in that tent that they were in.
Just RSVP. Do you want cheese pizza or do you want they have all the codes?
It's so funny because I watched when I was watching the updates for Diddy. Right after this whole, like, what he was charged, or what he was guilty and not guilty of, the Melanie King, she was like, I'm so tired. She's so riled up. Rightfully so. Because we will never get an answer to anything. Because it's just too powerful. And to expose it, maybe one day, I have hope that one day it will be exposed. Will people care? I don't know. But I think...
They won't care.
I think it is... hilarious how what we've talked about so passionately, nonstop, and people all of a sudden are getting their passion back about it, like pizza, hot dogs, pizza, and then they have to wait because YouTube censors it. A gate of pizza, and like people, you see the comments, and I'm like, yes, where have you been? Continue this passion because it's not. These things don't come up, or rumors, just for fun. Things happen.
If this was just rumor and innuendo, it would have died out. It would have died out 10 years ago.
Like I said, Obama's chef came up again, and I'm like, you guys, why did we even forget about it? You should
have never forgotten about that.
Yeah, why are we forgetting about all this stuff? And it's hard. It's hard to keep up with everything because I myself am a little disappointed that I was so I love pop culture because the drama. I think about that. Am I the drama? Because life can be so mundane that I look at this stuff and I laugh, But I feel stupid for following up with the P. Diddy case because I knew it was a sham. We knew it. We knew it was a distraction, and I was invested, reading up on it, watching these videos. Why? Because I don't have any. I work, and my work is boring.
And by the time the sentencing comes down,
and then I'm like, I fucking knew it.
By the time the sentencing comes down,
who cares?
We won't care anymore because we'll be worried about. Whatever cause we have to stand up behind that means absolutely nothing in the big picture in the long run. Yeah. But it's just... The
only thing that I can say that the positive that I see is people are literally the reporters, literally the people that were in there were like, when they said not guilty to the RICO charge, and the reporters are like, I don't understand. But look at how crazy it got. It got so crazy that these people that were in there, these fanatics or paid actors or fans for Diddy, literally threatened the lives. One of them, Nancy Grace, was interviewed. She's like, why are you in the car? She's like, because I had to get escorted out because these people were threatening me and saying that they would do worse to me than what happened to Cassie. And I was like, that's disgusting. That's what I'm saying. And that's in New York. That court case is in New York, right? And I say, New York and Cali is hell on earth because everything, the most disgusting, detrimental thing, that grotesque thing you can think of is in those two
Sodom
cities right now.
Those are the two.
Yeah, so I'm hoping it breaks off, falls off. Like, I don't know. The second coming of Jesus, like, or do we need? I don't know.
I think at this point, Jesus is probably like, screw you guys.
It's like, you're eating yourselves up. Like, you're killing each other.
Well, that's the beauty of human nature. If we keep doing this over and over. Remember, the Corinthians way back in the day, they would openly sacrifice their babies to Moloch, and the parent would have to give their baby to the priest, whatever, and he would take him to the fire, the pit, that fire altar, and just throw the baby on there, and they just sit there and listen to it scream, and it's like, because Moloch, who is tied to still our Clintons and our elite today, because they all pray to Moloch, and that's the child sacrifice aspect of it.
Yeah, because it still happens.
Because there's sacrifice, there's experimentation, there's adrenochrome, and then there's just the trafficking, the pedophilia, and it's just, why do you think all these kids have gone missing? I mean,
no one talks about was it 30 or 40 kids that went missing in Washington? I wonder what they were used for. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is the big thing that's happening? Jeff Bezos?
Another thing I think about as far as open borders is it just brings all the kids over. Yeah. If you have an open border and no one's watching or checking.
I saw that I see that a lot recently on Facebook, like, that says, I don't care about open borders, I don't care about illegal immigration, I just don't care. And I'm like, why don't you care? It affects your pocket, your bottom line, your paycheck. But, again, we talk about this, no one cares. No one cares, and it's like...
And we talked about that because when it comes to that issue alone, everything that's happening right now has happened from, like, the last 5 administrations.
Yeah, it's ongoing.
It's just... That's why I wish people on that side would just be like, I just hate him, so that's all I care about. Mm-hmm. Because everything he's doing, the guys that they liked and voted for did the exact same thing. Yeah. This alligator Alcatraz thing that they're doing right now, and it's like it's got room, it's got air conditioning, it's inside.
Yeah, they show a difference.
And but yet Obama's was just a bunch of open spaces, and Biden had people outside in the sun on blankets and everything, and it's like dirty ass blankets, and it's like nobody cares. That's why it's fake now. These liberals now, they don't care.
They're not system set up to constantly be against each other.
And see, that to me is more of a distraction when that and King stuff and this bill that passed and everything, again, that doesn't do half the things that people say that it's afraid that they're going to do. It's just trying to get people away from what I read, because it's hard to find stuff on it that's accurate.
Yeah.
But from what I understand from this couple of back and forths I saw, is it's just really trying to get the government shrunk and people to take care of themselves. Because if you give people more money in tax breaks and child care credits, maybe they can afford then to give their kids food to bring to school.
Yeah.
And so you don't need school lunches, because why do we want our government to keep paying for everything? But it's just, and all the people off Medicare, it's like it's illegals.
Yeah,
able-bodied work, and I don't want to get too much into that. Not this episode.
I just wanted to show you that you don't have to say anything out loud. Just that notification humored me.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
23 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but what I think is, I don't know. I think I reached that point. I don't know if it's a energy shift or whatnot. I just reached that point where I don't care anymore. I don't care about this, the whole political thing. I don't like talking about politics because no one understands my point of view. I feel like the system's set up for us to constantly be against each other.
You know how many times I've thought about doing a live, like I said, live by myself on a rant, and every time I go to sit down, I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because someone's going to sit out there and say, well, that's different. What about this? And it's like, and it's not just like, hey, think about this, or hey, would you consider this? Or hey, it'd be cool to have a conversation about this. It's, you're an idiot, you're stupid, because it's not what I think. Yeah. Because my political priorities are different from yours.
But it's not even just politics. It's just if you don't understand or think the way that I do, I shut off. You see it in their face. Because I'll tell you the perfect example last night. Literally, there's a word that was not said last night when I was talking to this individual. And I was like, it's okay, you can say it. And they were like, no. And I was like, it's just a word. It wasn't it's nothing racist, nothing like vulgar, nothing. But it's like, it just shows how everything's manipulated. I'll tell you the word afterwards. I don't want to say it.
Okay.
Because, we've said so many words, I don't even know if people will be able to see our video on YouTube.
Well, by now they've tuned out, so you can just tell me. you've seen our metrics. It's like the average watch time's like 3 minutes. So
I don't know. It's hit or miss. I just post. Look, I've always said this. Our podcast is about everyday life.
Yeah.
And like the fact that I go to events to try and do stuff that relates to a certain genre, like movies, music, just out of everyday work life and politics, and it somehow filters in. And I'm like, can I just can I play this card game without any issue, like a Pokemon card game without politics?
That's why, like I said, I've made a few decisions over doing or not doing something because I see something posted online by a account that shouldn't be talking about something like this, and it's like it turns me completely off.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's not that I need to be around like-minded people because that's not fun. I like to hear different points of views. But
it's different.
Like for us, like for our Instagram, this is who we are. This is what we talk about. So if you're posting reels, which you do a good job at, it's the stuff we talk about. No, it is. I'm not good at it. You're good at it. But you see these other ones like we follow someone from an event we were at.
Yeah.
And in the acting world.
I don't follow.
And it's like it's all it is. It's nonstop. And it's like that was an individual account, but sometimes I see them from vendor accounts that I follow or people I follow, and it's like they'll put up some sort of political. It's like this is a business page that you have.
Yeah, remember that Facebook clip?
Yeah.
I spent 15 minutes to make sure you didn't post anything political because I just want recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you've got a business page and you're not a political page, then shut up about politics.
Yeah.
On your personal stuff, your threads, whatever, go at it, have fun, but not on your business page. That's my escape.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we try to.
That's why I don't post this stuff on my personal page.
So on I think it's funny because there was an Instagram post, and this was in Portland. I don't know what's going on in Portland. There's stuff going on in Portland because the things I see, I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Well, you know the show Grimm was in Portland, so you never know.
But no, I'm just saying like this one cafe. I gotta pull up the episode that we talked about the cafe.
Sorry, everybody. Well, bear with us while she looks something up on her phone.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I mean, must be nice. It's just
like I said, they're not listening by now.
No, the episode we talked about how I just want my coffee.
Yes.
So a cafe in Portland, the owner is like, I'm neutral. This is a cafe. People just want coffee, and the employees put up a pride flag outside, and he said, take it down. And it was like an outrage. Like the employees were like, "This neutrality equals oppression," is what they said. So I commented, and I was like, "I just want my coffee and pastry," because someone's like, "I'm gay. I don't care. I think it's great. I want to go to a cafe and just have my coffee, relax, and be in peace. No social issues, no political issues, which is what a cafe you would think is about.
Business, yes.
Yeah. So I think it's funny, and I said, "Hey, I'm gay too, and all I want is my coffee and pastry." Like that's it.
We're just all tired of being shoved down throats.
And so I just think it's funny that it happened in Portland because when I went to Portland, and I'm going to be going to Portland here in a couple months, and I'm like, yesterday was the first day I was like, oh my God, do you think I could go somewhere without the rainbow flag, without pride? Because remember last time I was like, I'm so tired of seeing it. It was everywhere,
Brian. You know what? You're going to
everywhere.
Portland, so just go on a street corner and get some mushrooms, and you won't even think about it.
Yeah, and I did see a lot of homeless people on drugs.
Well, yeah, so they legalized everything, thinking it's going to make life better.
But I just sometimes wonder
when
if
it's just
things
a zombified
better.
Society. Hey, everybody, just do drugs. What could go wrong?
And that's happening in Houston, Texas.
It's going to happen everywhere soon.
They're handing out needles and like
they did that in
California.
Stuff. They hand out the whole pack.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep happening because that's what they want us. Because we're stupid enough to fall for these things. Because we have too many people like not to toot our home, but like us and people like the accounts we follow that are telling people wake up, wake up. So they have to make sure that foods, poisoning, shitty health care, mental health, anti-anxiety, antidepressants, and now drugs on the streets because they don't want us waking up because they got an agenda to fill too. They got 15-minute cities to create. They got rations to create. They got social credit scores. That's not real. They got social credit scores. And then none of that's real as it's real in China. As it's actually real in communist countries.
They've been warning us since Biden became president that shit was coming. I think
2030.
Before,
Everything is 20. He was like, remember when he was like, I'm going to create, everybody will have in-home Wi-Fi by 2030? It's like, why 2030? What's so special? So you want to make sure we're all home with our Wi-Fi by 2030. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then, oh crap, Orange Monkey Wrench comes along. Now what are we gonna do? Hate him. Kings.
Yeah, I think it's funny that there's been a lot of technology glitches and stuff, and like the internet's been down, up and down. So it's just like when that happens, I'm like, oh, it's happening. You know, like in some sense, I'm like, what is going on? This should not be an issue. Especially with the biggest company in the world, Verizon, has issues with reception.
It's not going to happen over the next 3 years.
But, no, I know, but what I'm saying is, like, they're setting up to upgrade things and stuff like that. But everyone's all like, oh, it doesn't, you know.
And the cashless society, the Diamondbacks thing, you know, where you put cash in a machine and then it gives you a card. Then Fam Fusion, pretty much cashless.
Yeah.
I went to go get, like, chicken strips or something, and it was like cash or card only. I was like, so you don't want money anymore? We don't want money. Cashless society, negative interest rates, they can take everything that you want.
Yeah.
Everything that's yours. At any time, for any reason, if they don't like your post, they don't like your podcast,
yeah,
they'll just bottom you out, zero you out. What are you going to do? You don't have cash. No one will take anything. Now you're at the mercy.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. The things that are potentially coming, because I still like to say potentially, believe me, you think kings are, but you think you have a king now? Seriously, that's why I say, and I don't care about the man. Don't care about the politician. I'm not here to support or deny anyone. I'm just, I'm a conservative, but I don't care who it is.
We all poke fun at him.
We all do.
And he does things that we don't agree with. Like, what the hell?
Something is coming that is far beyond what you think this man is doing, because he signed a spending bill that cuts illegals and able-bodied people off entitlements, because we all know people who are on Medicare or Social Security that shouldn't be on it.
Yeah.
And that costs all of us money.
Yeah.
And if we get all those people off there, we don't need to pay in as much to these. We spend less on taxes because we're not paying for everyone else's free ride. And that side is crying, yelling, and screaming, saying people are going to die because we're taking away free rides. And it's like,
no,
that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So he's a king because he's trying to have less government and have less invasive government. Even the ICE expansion. Do you know that's for increased facilities so they don't overcrowd?
Yeah.
And for legal teams and for processing units so they can process people quicker and get them in and out. Mm-hmm. But they didn't care about the 83,000 IRS agents that Biden was going to put in order to go audit people that make under $200,000 a year. Mm-hmm. And I still sit on that. Well, it's for the rich. It's tax credits across the board, which means yes, rich people, since they pay for the majority of the tax revenue, will get a higher tax break because they're paying for everything. Mm. Oh gosh, and then the.
Let it out.
It frustrates me because it's not like I'm saying we're right and everyone's wrong, but still.
But there's things
to protest, and there's things that I just don't understand. It's just walking to the Capitol because it's just with a Trump with a circle and a line through. It's like that's basically all. You hate your country. You're gonna fly flag upside down. You can't even say Happy 4th of July. Yeah. Because you don't like who's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. That's the stupidest thing in the world.
I think it's funny because this whole No Kings 2.0, the second protest for the 4th of July. Yet people were still saying Happy 4th of July, and I was like, if you're so against it, why are you saying Happy 4th of July? You're like contradicting.
Well, did you see my post where it's like, what flag are they going to latch onto?
Yeah.
And I was like, I found out what flag. It's the upside down flag, because somebody said, look, it's upside down, and all the little cheapy liberals go, upside down flag, and it's like.
I feel so bad for people because there was this one guy I saw a video. He was in Oregon. I'm telling you, I'm like excited and yet dreading to go to Oregon in the next couple months because something is happening in Oregon. Like, people are waking up, and they're like, and then people are losing their minds, like, in a bad way and in a good way, like, losing their mind, like, oh my god, I've been brainwashed, or like, I didn't pay attention, this is what's going on.
See how crappy their city becomes.
And then people who are like, no, you're wearing a hunter's hat, and it has the American flag, but it has animals on it, so I know that means Trump, and I'm like, the guy's like, I'm a hunter. It's a logo. I was given this from a business. No, you're so innocent. You're so... What the fuck are you talking about?
Glad I'm not going because my wallet, the American
I'm
flag.
Just like, are we not in America? Are we in a different country?
They hate this
country.
So if I
flew... I just don't understand what the issue is.
They hate this country.
But again, you're right. If they would just say, like, I just fucking hate Trump, and when I see the American flag, I hate it. Okay, I would respect that versus the poor guy can't wear a flag that has animals because it's in the shape of the American flag. She's like, that's Trump. So everyone who hunts or people who like animals is a Trump lover? and I have to sit here and listen to you bicker and lose your mind because you have a psychotic episode.
That damn Betsy Ross made that Trump flag. I just can't believe her.
Yeah, Trump existed back then, so like, yeah, it's just I don't understand that it's all
because it's still
working.
It's still
their plan is working.
The government experiment that is the United States of America is still the better option of anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah,
there's some decent things here and there, and there's a lot of mistakes and a lot of black marks and a lot of issues because it's people, like we said with religion. People screw it up. Mm-hmm. But we're still, all these people hate us so much, but they won't leave. They're not going to leave.
Right.
It's
like our coworker.
Yeah.
I was like, so are you going to leave then? He's like, no, I would never leave. My country.
Well, the first
so
time,
why are you complaining?
He's going to come get me and deport me. He's like, why? You're here legally. And you work.
And he's like, oh, well, if he wins, I'm scared for my life. Why? And then couldn't really answer. And I said, so go back to your country. And she's like, no, absolutely not. Why? No, I came here for a better life.
But yet send all the money that's made back to that country and can't wait to go back when you retire.
That was in 2021?
16.
2016? 16. And she still works there, right?
Absolutely.
Did she get deported?
Nope.
Is she's still scared about the virus?
She's
and stuff.
Double mask
and still stuff. I don't know. People with autoimmune disease, does the mask really even fucking work? Is my question.
I forgot what she looks like. Literally don't know what she looks like anymore.
And she was wearing double masks and face shields, like hospital wear.
And she's healthier than anyone I've ever seen because she doesn't eat crap. She doesn't eat junk food.
She's a vegetarian.
Vegetarian, doesn't eat junk food, eats healthy, eats clean.
Whole foods.
Her second job is active because she cleans houses. Yeah. She's in her 60s, but still healthier than
she's
anyone
healthier.
Ever.
Yeah, she never got sick when I worked with her, but like. I think it's funny because if you were to bring up to her and say, hey, what year is it? What year did he get into office? What were you scared of?
I know.
Are you scared of it now? Did it happen? Everything you were scared of, did it happen? She'd be like, no. They won't say no. They'll never say no because it's never
just like
true.
You ask somebody what rights they've lost, they won't answer.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the rights that I lost. But
like you said, when you did the Handmaid's Tale costumes at 4th of July parties,
I'm waiting for that 2016.
It's like, are you kidding me?
2016.
But the thing I think that's so funny... Hold on, wait, what?
I'm waiting for 2016 to hit and be like, man, that... 2025...
Yeah.
What is it called? Plan? What is it?
Project 2025.
Project 2025. I'm fucked. I was wearing the red hooded dress. I had 6 babies. I was married to a man.
What cracks me up is that the same people who wear the Handmaid's Tale thing and have all this talk, they fly the Palestinian and the Iranian flags. 2 countries that you talk about women's rights that don't exist.
Yeah.
They don't know.
I just try to. I really
they don't know what they stand for.
I don't understand.
But all they do is yell and scream. If anybody like us, even I have my side as far as an ideology, not necessarily people, but it's still I'm a bigot, misogynistic piece of crap that people don't want to maybe necessarily do business with or follow because I'm not bowing down to the.
You don't think the way they
because I wouldn't know what to do if I was a liberal. I wouldn't know what to stand for. Because it changes from one week to the next. Everything contradicts each other. Save the children in Gaza, save these people, but I'm going to abort every baby that I get inside of me because,
what about the children in the U.S.?
Serious, or because I don't even care about trafficking because I don't believe it exists. So I don't
care
care
about the foster care system.
They don't care about the 1 million+ abortions that we have in America that's actually gone up since Roe was repealed, which is a thing nobody talks about because every state passed legislation to change the constitutional language to say that we can at some point have an abortion. It's just, I didn't mean to get on that rant for a second, but
it's true.
It does fit the episode because we're just like
we're closing this. We're closing this chapter because
we're closing
I
the Diddy
no longer
chapter.
care.
We're closing the Diddy chapter with this. I mean, when sentencing comes, I'm sure we'll do an episode talking about the sentencing. But we're gonna close this out because it's done. We're gonna the Blake Lively stuff's pretty much almost done.
It's 2026, the court case, and it just keeps more and more keeps coming out.
I mean, we're not going to stop talking about trafficking and protecting kids.
No. I really appreciate some of our followers on Instagram who agreed because like they're like when I said I'm really disappointed and like it really hurts me what happened with this court case, and they're like I had a mom comment and say I'm always aware of what's around me. She has 2 girls, 2 children, and I was like keep doing what you're doing because. Everyone, I just don't know what world these people live in that it's like everything's okay. And like it's so disgusting to hear how people were outside cheering. I don't know if they're paid or not. and throwing baby oil on themselves, and I was like, what? That's disrespectful. They're like, being a freak doesn't mean Rico.
They're paid.
And I was just like, I know, but like disgusting. Like even if you liked him and you don't think he did that, but saying that shit, like you're deteriorating human beings in the most disgusting manner ever. I hope. I sometimes I really have to like take a step back because I would never tell someone. I hope it happens to you so you understand what you're saying. You know, because I don't ever want anyone to go through or experience with these people that no one cares about. That's in sex trafficking, child abuse, child neglect, adult, like men and women. I never wish that upon anyone, but like sometimes it's getting to the point where you're like, you have to go through it so you understand what you're saying, what's coming out of your mouth, because it's ridiculous, like disgusting what's coming out of your mouth, you know? And like you said about the big beautiful bill or whatever the fuck it's called. People, you said it before in the last episode. I know a friend of a cousin that's the sitter or the nanny of this famous person, or like my friend's friend's sister, da da da. And it's like, shut up. You don't know anything about it. I haven't said anything about it, and you haven't said anything about it. You've been through the process. We've talked about it before, but like, you know the process better. You and I know the process better than anything of these people saying like, well, you should care even if you're not on Medicaid or Medicare. We know it because we've been through it.
And we fought Social Security and the VA.
Yeah.
My mom knows how hard it is for legitimate claims to go through, and knowing that it's just somebody crosses the border, just here's your check, here's your debit card, here's your Section 8 housing, go have fun.
My mom has seen it in the school system. She knows firsthand. My mom and us, we know firsthand because my dad has a disability, an actual disability. He can't do anything, and we have to fight tooth and nail. And some things we don't even have approval of, but yet someone. And
my dad had to fight for 3 years.
Have like
and
by the
time he got it, the doctor was like, "What took? How many appeals? What took them so long to approve you?"
For them to say, "Why is this?"
And he got 3 years back pay and we got a lot of cash, but still, you made that person wait because you were hoping they'd give up. Yeah. Because I've always told people, if you apply for disability or Social Security, just expect deny. They're going to deny you because you're an American citizen. They're going to deny. Yeah. You're going to have to fight like hell and fight like mad, but.
And you know what? Shout out to all the people that became citizens. I forgot what state it was. Was it? I don't think it was Minnesota. It was one controversial state where there was like a big No Kings protest. Shout out to the people who just got their citizenship, and they interviewed this one man, and he said, it took me 15 years, and I'm so happy I'm a citizen now.
That's what needs to change.
But shout out, because 15, that's my parents, it took over 20 years to become a citizen.
That's what needs to change.
And that's the reform that needs, instead of saying, like, just let everyone, no, let's fix the process.
You come over, you can check a box saying, I want to be a U.S. citizen, you're on a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Learn English in terms of being able to communicate. You don't have to speak it as your main. Work,
and the amount of money that it takes.
Contribute, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
And then have an administrative fee.
Yeah.
$1,000 or something like that.
Yeah. Some people pay like $20.
I know, and that is what's wrong. My parents paid so I don't. That's why I said that one episode. That's why it took them so long. That's why I said that one episode. I don't blame people for just wanting to come over and just sneak across and just live because it's too big of a daunting of a process. Right. I couldn't pass the citizenship test. I bet.
Yeah.
It's serious. So I get it. But instead of
saying, there's a difference too. Yeah. People who actually come want the better life. They work. They do everything they need to do. Then there's others that's just like free for all. Like I'll do whatever I want. So, but sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's what I'm saying. It's like with the deportations and stuff like that. It's like we're fighting abolish ICE and kill ICE and a mask. How about we stand in the steps of every court, every capital, state capital, and federal capital? We demand immigration reform. Let's have a better system so these people come over and they don't looking at a 20-year process that they can't afford. So they just sneak in and do, because we have to have. I had post a list of the women that were killed brutally by illegal immigrants. Because that's a reality. Trafficking's a reality. Cartels are a reality. Drug mules are a reality. We need to keep people vetted, and we need to keep them out if they shouldn't be here. But for those that want a better life, let's give them an opportunity to have a better life, and not just by here's your citizenship card, but you earn it a little bit. But you prove that you can be here. Like every other country, you can't just walk in and say, I want to be a citizen. Oh, okay, here. Stamp. Here's your ID card.
There's a lot. There's a lot to take in.
And that's all I got.
But we hope you enjoy. I know you like to see our beautiful faces. And
Even though
this is the end of a chapter with these court cases. I mean, we'll still stay updated, but we're not going to go in depth anymore.
No.
And then, because ultimately, like we learned, no one cares. No one cares. The true definitions of these terms are being altered. And, you know, what else can we do? We'll always be advocates for things and like this, but we hope you enjoy. Stay safe. Go outside. Touch grass. Vitamin D. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and go rewatch and re-listen to our episodes. Go check out our interview. Alex had some amazing wisdom and points of view. So
she was alright.
Okay.
Just
anything else you'd like to add?
No, she was okay.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.